Before I even get started, review my video on the populist bomb. There's this fallacy put out by the left that cops are inherently racist. They're just randomly shooting black men. Even Obama perpetuated this lie. Are there racist cops? Probably. Is every police involved shooting because of racism? Not even close. It's time for a reality check. 990 people were shot by cops in 2016. 748 of those were while an attack was in progress. 216 were other factors. 44 were undetermined. Of the 990, 948 were male. I guess men are just violent motherfuckers. 42 were female. 494 were white. 258 were black. 172 were Hispanic. 66 were other races. 782 of the 990 had a deadly weapon on them. 54 used a vehicle as a weapon. 34 had a toy weapon. The only disparity out there is whites are killed more often and have more run-ins with cops than black people do, which would seem logical as there are more white people than black people. On average, 4,472 black men were killed by other black men annually between January 1st, 2009 and December 31st, 2012, according to the FBI supplementary homicide reports. Using FBI and CDC statistics, University of Toledo criminologist Dr. Richard R. Johnson calculates that 112 black men, on average, suffered both justified and unjustified police-involved deaths annually during this period. This equals 2.5% of these 4,472 yearly deaths. For every black man, criminal or innocent, killed by a cop, 40 black men were murdered by other black men. The at most 2.5% of the problem generates relentless rage. And yet, it's rude to racists to mention 97.5% of the problem. Fact 1. Over 1,400 more black Americans murdered other blacks in 2 years than were lynched from 1882 to 1968. According to FBI data, 4,906 black people murdered other blacks in 2010 and 2011. That is 1,460 more black Americans killed by other blacks in 2 years than were lynched from 1882 to 1968, according to the Tuskegee Institute. Wow, that sounds like a white-run fucking organization. Fact 2. Black people, mostly men, commit a grossly disproportionate amount of crime. In 2012, white males were 38% of the population and committed 4,582 murders. That same year, black males were just 6.6% of the population, but committed a staggering 5,531 murders. In other words, black people, at just a fifth of the size, committed almost 1,000 more murders than their white counterparts. The aforementioned figures highlight a horrific truth that black racialists and white liberals routinely ignore. They don't ignore it. They perpetuate the truth, or perpetuate the myth. Law-breaking black Americans, young black males particularly, put themselves in close proximity to mostly white male police officers at rates sometimes 5 to 10 times higher than whites. This is a recipe for disaster. Fact 3. Despite making up just 13% of the population, blacks committed half of the homicides in the United States for nearly 30 years. DOJ statistics show that between 1980 and 2008, black people committed 52% of the homicides. In 2013, black criminals committed 38% of the murders. Whites accounted for just 31%. There are 5 times fewer black people than white people in America, and yet they consistently carry out a larger share of the crimes. Given this rate, it's no wonder that there isn't more incidents where cops kill black criminals. Fact 4. Chicago's death toll is almost equal to that of both wars in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. There have been almost as many deaths in one American city as there have been in the two major wars carried out by the U.S. military this century. Chicago's death toll from 2001 to November 26, 2015 stands at 7,401. The combined total deaths during Operation Iraqi Freedom 2003 to 2015 is 4,815, and our Operation Enduring Freedom Afghanistan 2001 to 2015 is 3,506. The total, 8,321. Fact 5. It would take cops 40 years to kill as many black men as have died at the hands of other black men in 2012 alone. University of Toledo criminologist Dr. Richard R. Johnson examined the latest crime data from the FBI's supplementary homicide reports and Centers for Disease Control and found that an average of 4,472 black men were killed by other black men annually between January 1st, 2009 and December 31st, 2012. Professor Johnson's research further concluded that 112 black men died from both justified and unjustified police-involved killings annually during the same period. So to summarize, whites are killed by police more often, blacks commit more crime, and blacks have killed more blacks than the U.S. military has lost troops in 2 fucking wars. It would appear the left's brainwashing is complete.